Drainage. The term drainage describes the river system of an area. The physical map, you will notice that the small streams flowing from different directions come together to form the main river, which ultimately drains into a large water body such as a lake or sea or an ocean. The area drained by a single river system is called a drainage basin. A closer observation will indicate that any elevated area, such as a mountain or an upland, separates two drainage basins. Such an upland is known as water divide. Drainage system in India. The drainage systems in India are mainly controlled by the broad relief features of the subcontinent. Accordingly, the Indian rivers are divided into two major groups: the Himalayan rivers and the peninsular rivers. Apart from originating from the two major physiographic regions of India, the Himalayan and peninsular rivers are different from each other in many ways. Most of the Himalayan rivers are perennial. It means that they have water throughout the year. These rivers receive water from rain as well as from melted snow from the lofty mountains. The two major Himalayan rivers, the Indus and the Brahmaputra, originate from the north of the mountain ranges. They have cut through the mountains, making gorges. The Himalayan rivers have long courses from their source to the sea. They perform intensive erosional activity in their upper courses and carry huge loads of salt and sand. In the middle and the lower courses, these rivers form meanders, oxbow lakes, and many other depositional features in their food plants. Drainage patterns. The streams within a drainage basin form certain patterns depending on the slope of land, underlying rock structure, as well as the climatic conditions of the area. These are the dendritic, trellis, rectangular and radial patterns. The dendritic pattern develops where the river channel follows the slope of the terrain. The stream with its tributaries resembles the branches of a tree. Thus, the name dendritic. A river joined by its tributaries at approximately right angles develops a trellis pattern. A trellis drainage pattern develops where hard and salt rocks exist parallel to each other. A rectangular drainage pattern develops on a strongly joined rocky terrain. The radial pattern develops when streams flow in different directions from a central peak or dome-like structure. A combination of several patterns may be found in the same drainage basin. A large number of the peninsular rivers are seasonal, as their flow is dependent on rainfall. During the dry season, even the large rivers have reduced flow of water in their channels. The peninsular rivers have shorter and shallower courses as compared to their Himalayan counterparts. However, some of them originate in the central highlands and flow towards the west. Two such large rivers of the rivers of peninsular India originate in the Western Ghats and flow towards the Bay of Bengal. The Himalayan rivers. The major Himalayan rivers are the Indus, the Ganga and Brahmaputra. These rivers are long and are joined by many large and important tributaries. A river along with its tributaries may be called a river system. The Indus River system. The river Indus rises in Tibet near Lake Manasovar, flowing west. It enters India in the Ladakh district of Jammu and Kashmir. It forms a picturesque gorge in this part. Several tributaries, the Saksar, the Nubra and the Shyok and the Hunza, join it in the Kashmir region. The Indus flows through Baltistan and Gilgit and emerges from the mountains at top. The Satluj, the Beas and the Ravi, the Chenab and the Jhelum join together to enter the Indus near Mindangkot in Pakistan. Beyond this, the Indus flows southwards, eventually reaching the Arabian Sea east of Karachi. The Indus plain has a very gentle slope with a total length of 2009 kilometers. They blow south, get deflected to the right due to the Coriolis force and move on towards the equatorial low pressure area. Generally, these winds carry very little moisture as they originate and blow over land. Therefore, they bring little or no rain. Hence, India should have been an arid land, but it is not so. The pressure and wind conditions over India are unique. During water, there is a high pressure area north of the Himalayas. Cold, dry winds blow from this region to the low pressure areas over the oceans to the south. In summer, a low pressure area develops over India, Asia as well as over northwestern India. This causes a complete reversal of the direction of winds. During summer, air moves from the high pressure area over the southern Indian Ocean in a southeasterly direction, crosses the equator and turns right towards the low pressure areas over the Indian subcontinent. These are known as the southwest monsoon winds. These winds blow over the warm oceans, gather moisture and bring widespread rainfall over the mainland of India. The upper air circulation in this region is dominated by a westerly flow. An important component of this flow is the jet stream. These jet streams are located approximately over 27 to 30 north latitude. Therefore, they are known as subtropical westerly jet streams over India. These jet streams blow south of the Himalayas. Although the year expect in summer, the western cyclonic disturbances experienced in the north and northwestern parts of the country are brought in by this westerly flow. In summer, the subtropical westerly jet stream moves north of the Himalayas with the apparent movement of the sun. An easterly jet stream called the subtropical easterly jet stream blows over peninsular India approximately over 14 north degree north during the summer months. The Indian monsoon. The climate of the India strongly influenced by monsoon winds. The sailors who came to India in historic times were one of the first to have noticed the phenomenon of the monsoon. They benefited from the reversal of the wind system as they came by sailing ships at the mercy of winds. The Arabs who had also come to India as traders named this seasonal reverse of the wind system monsoon.
Natural vegetation and wildlife. Have you observed the type of trees, bushes, grasses, and birds in the fields and parks in and around your school? Are they similar or there are variations? India being a vast country, you can imagine the types of bioforms available throughout the country. Our country, India, is one of the 12 mega biodiversity countries of the world, with about 47,000 plant species. India occupies 10th place in the world and 4th in Asia in plant diversity. There are about 15 lakh flowering plants in India, which account for 6% in the world's total number of flowering plants. The country has many no-flowering plants such as ferns, algae, and fungi. India also has approximately 90,000 species of animals as well as a rich variety of fish in its fresh and marine waters. Natural vegetation refers to a plant community which has grown naturally without human aid and has been left undisturbed by humans for a long time. This is termed as a virgin vegetation. Thus, cultivated crops and fruits, orchards from part of vegetation but not natural vegetation. The term flora is used to denote plants of a particular region or period. Similarly, the species of animals are referred to as fauna. This huge diversity in flora and fauna kingdom is due to the following factors. Land affects the natural vegetation directly and indirectly. Do you expect the same type of vegetation in mountainous, plateau and plain areas or in dry and wet regions? The nature of land influences the type of vegetation. In the fertile level is generally devoted to agriculture. The undulating and rough terrains are areas where grassland and woodlands develop and give shelter to a variety of wildlife. Soil. The soils also vary of space. Different type of soils provide bases for different type of vegetation. The sandy soils of the desert support cactus and thorny bushes while wet. Marshy deltaic soils support mangroves and deltic vegetation. The hill slopes with some depth of soil have conical trees. Temperature. The character and extent of vegetation are mainly determined by temperature along with humidity in the air. Prescription and soil. On the slopes of the Himalaya and the hills of the peninsula above the height of 95 meters. The fall in the temperature affects the type of vegetation and its growth and changes it from tropical to subtropical temperature and alpine vegetation. Photoperiod. The variation in duration of sunlight at different places is due to differences in latitude, altitude, season and duration of the day. Due to longer duration of sunlight, trees grow faster in summer. Precipitation. In India, almost the entire rainfall is brought in by the advancing southwest monsoon June to September and retreating northeast monsoons. Areas of heavy rainfall have more dense vegetation as compared to other areas of less rainfall. Have you ever thought as to why forests are important for human beings? Forests are renewable resource and play a major role in enhancing the quality of environment. They modify local climate, control soil erosion, regulate stream flow, support a variety of industries, provide livelihood for many communities, and offer panoramic or science view for recreation. It controls rainfall and temperature and causes rainfall. It provides humus to the soil and shelter to the wildlife. India's natural vegetation has undergone many changes due to several factors such as the growing demand for cultivated land, development of industries and mining, urbanization and overgrazing of pastures. The vegetation cover of India in large parts is no more natural in the real sense, except in some inaccessible regions like the Himalayas, the hilly region of central India, and the Marustati. The vegetation of most of the areas has been modified at some places or replaced or degraded by human occupancy. Ecosystem. Plants occur in distant groups of communities in areas having similar climate conditions. The nature of the plants in an area to a large extent determines the animal life in that area. When the vegetation is altered, the animal life also changes. All the plants and animals in an area are interdependent and interrelated to each other in their physical environment, thus forming an ecosystem. Human beings are also an integral part of the ecosystem. How do the human beings influence the ecology of a region? They utilize the vegetation and wildlife. The greed of human beings leads to overutilization of these resources. They cut the trees and kill the animals, creating ecological imbalance. As a result, some of the plants and animals have reached the verge of extinction. Do you know that a very large ecosystem on land having distant type of vegetation and animal life is called a biome? The biomes are identified on the basis of plants. Type of vegetation. The following major type of vegetation may be identified in our country. Tropical evergreen forests, tropical deciduous forests, tropical thorn forests and cypress, montane forests, mangrove forests, tropical evergreen forests. These forests are restricted to heavy rainfall areas of the Western Ghats and the island groups of Lakshadweep, Andaman and Nicobar, upper parts of Assam and Tamil Nadu coast. All the best. Oxygen is the second most plentiful gas in the air. Humans and animals take oxygen from the air as they breathe. Green plants produce oxygen during photosynthesis. In this way, oxygen content in the air remains constant. If we cut trees, then this balance gets disturbed. Carbon dioxide is another important gas. Green plants use carbon dioxide to make their food and release oxygen. Humans or animals release carbon dioxide. The amount of carbon dioxide released by humans or animals seems to be equal to the amount used by the plants, which make a perfect balance. However, the balance is upset by burning of fuels such as coal and oil. They add billions of tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere each year. As a result, the increased volume of carbon dioxide is affecting the Earth's weather and climate. Structure of the atmosphere. Our atmosphere is divided into the 5 layers starting from the Earth's surface. These are troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere, transmosphere. This layer is the most important layer of the atmosphere. Its average height is 13 kilometers. The air we breathe exists here. Almost all the weather phenomena like rainfall, fog, and hailstorm occur in this layer, stratosphere. Above the troposphere lies the stratosphere. It extends up to a height of 50 kilometers. This layer is almost free from clouds and associated weather phenomenon, making conditions most ideal for flying aeroplanes. One important feature of stratosphere is that it contains a layer of ozone gas. We have just learned how it protects us from the harmful effect of the sun rays. Mesosphere. This is the third layer of the atmosphere. It lies above the stratosphere. It extends up to the height of 80 kilometers. Meteorites burn up in this layer on entering from the space. Barosphere. In barosphere, temperature rises very rapidly with increasing height. Ionosphere is a part of this layer. It extends between 8,400 kilometers. This layer helps in radio transmission. In fact, radio waves transmitted from the earth are reflected back to the earth by this layer, exosphere. The uppermost layer of the atmosphere is known as exosphere. This layer has very thin air. Light gases like helium and hydrogen float into the space from here. Weather and climate. Is it going to rain today? Will it be bright and sunny today? How many times have we heard this from anxious cricket fans speculating the fate of a one-day match? If they imagine our body to be a radio and the mind its speaker, weather is something that fiddles with its control knobs. Whether it is hour to hour, day-to-day condition of the atmosphere. A hot or humid weather may make one terrible. A pleasant, breezy weather may make one cheerful and even plan for an outing. Weather can change dramatically from day to day. However, the average weather condition of a place for a longer period of the represents the climate of a place. Now do you understand why we have daily weather forecasts? Temperature. The temperature you feel every day is the temperature of the atmosphere. The degree of hotness and coldness of the air is known as temperature. The temperature of the atmosphere changes not only between day and night but also from season to season. Summers are hotter than winters. An important factor that influences the distribution of temperature is insolation is the incoming solar energy intercepted by the earth. The amount of insolation decreases from the equator towards the poles. Therefore, the temperature decreases in the same manner. Now do you understand why poles are covered with snow? If the earth's temperature rises too high, it would become too warm for some crops to grow. Temperature in cities is much higher than that of villages. The concrete and metals in building and the asphalt of roads get heated up during the day. This heat is released during the night. Also, the crowded high-rise buildings of the cities trap the warm air and thus raise the temperature of the cities. Air pressure. You will be surprised to know that air above us presses us with a great force on our bodies. However, we don't even feel it. This is because the air presses us from all directions and our body exerts a counter pressure. Air pressure is defined as the pressure exerted by the weight of air on the Earth's surface. As we go up the layers of atmosphere, the pressure falls rapidly. The air pressure is highest at sea level and decreases with height. Horizontally, the distribution of air pressure is influenced by temperature of air at a given place. In areas where temperature is high, the air gets heated, the rises. This creates a low pressure area. Low pressure is associated with cloudy skies and wet weather. Increase in areas having lower temperature. The air is cold. It is therefore heavy. Heavy air sinks and creates a high pressure area. High pressure is associated with cloudy skies and wet weather. In areas having lower temperature, the air is cold. It is therefore heavy. Heavy air sinks and creates a high pressure area. High pressure is associated with clear and sunny skies. The air always moves from high pressure areas to low pressure areas. Wind. The movement of air from high pressure area to low pressure areas is called wind. You can see wind at work as it blows dry leaves down the pavement or uproots trees during a storm. Sometimes when the wind blows gently, you can even see it blowing away smoke or fine dust. At times, wind can be so strong that it is difficult to walk against it. You must have experienced it is not easy to hold an umbrella on a windy day. Think of some other examples when strong winds have created. God bless you. Hi Ajay, are you going to a music class?
Yes, Anu, I am going to a music class.
Are you learning any musical instruments?
Yes, I am learning tabla and piano.
I like to play the violin and the veena.
Are you going for any class?
No, my mom teaches me.
Oh, it is very nice. You can practice at home every day.
Yes, which is your favorite instrument?
I like to play the drums, but I do not get a chance to learn them. I like to watch those people who plays drums.
Have you learned the harmonium?
Yes, I started with the harmonium and then began to play the piano. If we wish to play the piano, we must learn the harmonium first.
How is your tabla class going on?
It is really interesting. Tabla is very easy to learn. When does your mother teach you violin and veena?
She teaches me on Sundays.
Does your mother know any other instruments other than veena and violin?
No, but my father knows to play the flute, guitar, and sitar.
That's nice. You can learn everything at home, cannot you?
Yes, I can. I am very much interested in learning some musical instruments because the music we produce from the instruments will make us happy and cheerful always.
Okay, bye. Coast gets a large portion of its rain during October and November. In general, coastal areas experience less contrast in temperature conditions. Seasonal contracts are more in the interior of the country. There is decrease in rainfall generally from east to west in the northern plains. These variations have given rise to variety in lives of people in terms of the food they eat, their clothes they wear, and also kind of houses they live in. Climate controls. There are 6 major controls of the climate any place. They are latitude, altitude, pressure and wind system, distance from the sea, continentally, ocean currents and relief features. Due to the curvature of the earth, the amount of solar energy received varies according to latitude. As a result, air temperature generally decreases from the equator towards the poles. As one goes from the surface of the earth to higher altitudes, the atmosphere becomes less dense and temperature decreases. The hills are therefore cooler during summers. The pressure and wind system of any area depend on the latitude and altitude of the place. Thus, it influences the temperature and rainfall pattern. The sea exerts a moderating influence on climate. As the distance from the sea increases, its moderating influence decreases and the people experience extreme weather conditions. This condition is known as continentally. Ocean currents along with onshore winds affect the climate, the social areas. For example, any coastal area with warm or cold currents flowing past it will be warmed or cooled if the winds are onshore. Finally, relief too plays a major role in determining the climate of place. High mountains act as barriers for cold or hot winds. They may also cause precipitation if they are high enough and lie in the path of rain-bearing winds. The leeward side of mountains remains relatively dry. Factors affecting India's climate. Latitude. The Tropic of Cancer passes through the middle of the country from the Rann of Kutch in the west to Mizoram in the east. Almost half of the country lying south of the Tropic Cancer belongs to the tropical area. All the remaining area north of the tropic lies in the subtropics. Therefore, India's climate has characteristics of tropical as well as subtropical climates. Altitude. India has mountains to the north which have an average height of about 6,000 meters. India also has a vast coastal area where maximum elevation is about 330 meters. The Himalayas prevent the cold winds from Central Asia from entering the subcontinent. It is because of these mountains that this subcontinent experiences comparatively milder winters as compared to Central Asia. Pressure and winds. The climate and associated weather conditions in India are governed the following atmosphere conditions: pressure and surface winds, upper air circulation, western cyclonic disturbances, and tropical cyclones. India lies in the region of easterly winds. These winds originate from the subtropical high pressure belt of the northern area. Climate. In the last sections, you have watched about the landforms and the drainage of our country. Climate refers to the sum of total of weather conditions and variations over a large area for a long period of time. Weather refers to the state of the atmosphere over an area at any point of time. The elements of weather and climate are the same: temperature, atmospheric pressure, wind, humidity, and precipitation. You may have observed that the weather conditions fluctuate very often, even within day, but there is some common pattern over a few weeks or months. Example: days are cool or hot, windy or calm, cloudy or bright, and wet or dry. On the basis of the generalized monthly atmosphere conditions, the year is divided into seasons such as winter, summer, or rainy seasons. The world is divided into number of climatic regions. We will learn about it in this video. The climate of India is described as the monsoon type in Asia. This type of climate is found mainly in the south and southeast. Despite an overall unity in the general pattern, there are perceptibly regional variations in climatic conditions within the country. Temperature and precipitation, and examine how they vary from place to place and season to season. In summer, the mercury occasionally touches 50 degrees Celsius in some part of the Rajasthan desert, whereas it may be around 20 degrees Celsius in Pahalgam in Jammu and Kashmir. On a winter night, temperature at Dras in Jammu and Kashmir may be as low as minus 45 degrees Celsius. Thiruvananthapuram, on the other hand, may have a temperature of 22 degrees Celsius. Let us now look at precipitation. There are variations not only in the form and types of precipitation, but also in its amount and the seasonal distribution. While precipitation is mostly in the form of snowfall in the upper parts of Himalayas, it rains over the rest of the country. The annual precipitation varies from over 400 Celsius in Meghalaya to less than 10 centimeters in Ladakh and western Rajasthan. Most parts of the country receive rainfall from June to September, but some parts like the Tamil Nadu, our earth is surrounded by a huge blanket of air called atmosphere. All living beings on this earth depend on the atmosphere for their survival. It provides us the air we breathe and protects us from the harmful effects on the sun's rays. Without this blanket of protection, we would be baked alive by the heat of the sun during the day and get frozen during night. So it is this mass of air that has made the temperature on the earth livable. Composition of the atmosphere. Do you know that the air we take in while breathing is actually a mixture of many gases. Nitrogen and oxygen are two gases which make up the bulk of the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide, helium, oxygen, argon and hydrogen are found in lesser quantities. Apart from these gases, tiny dust particles are also present in the air. The information gives you the percentage of different constitutions of air. Nitrogen is the most plentiful gas in the air. When we inhale, we take some amount of nitrogen into our lungs and exhale it. But plants need nitrogen for their survival. Cropping pattern. You have studied the physical diversities and plurality of cultures in India. These are also called reflected in agriculture practices and cropping patterns in the country. Various types of food and fiber crops, vegetables and fruits, spices, condiments, etc. constitute some of the important crops grown in the country. India has three cropping seasons: Rabi, Kharif and Zaid. Rabi crops are sown in water from October to December and harvested in summer from April to June. Some of the important Rabi crops are wheat, barley, peas, gram and mustard, though these crops are grown in large parts of India. States from the north and northwestern parts such as Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh are important for the production of wheat and other Rabi crops. Availability of precipitation during winter months due to the western temperature cyclones helps in the success of these crops. However, the success of the Green Revolution in Punjab, Haryana, Western Uttar Pradesh and parts of Rajasthan has also been an important factor in the growth of the above-mentioned Rabi crops. Kharif crops are grown with the onset of monsoon in different parts of the country, and these are harvested in September, October. Important crops grown during this season are paddy, maize, jowar, bajra, tur, moong, urad, cotton, jute, groundnut and soya bean. Some of the most important rice growing regions are Assam, West Bengal, coastal regions of Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Maharashtra, particularly the Konkan coast, along with Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Recently, paddy has also become an important crop of Punjab and Haryana. In states like Assam, West Bengal and Odisha, three crops of paddy are grown in a year. These are Oz, Oman and Boro. In between the Rabi and the Kharif seasons, there is short season during the summer of months known as the Zaid season. Some of the crops produced during Zaid are watermelon, muskmelon, cucumber, vegetables and fodder crops. Sugarcane takes almost a year to grow. Major crops, a variety of food and non-food crops are grown in different parts of the country, depending upon the variations in soil, climate and cultivation practices. Major crops grown in India are rice, wheat, millets, pulses, tea, coffee, sugarcane, oilseeds, cotton and jute, etc. Rice. It is the staple food crop of a majority of the people in India. Our country is the second largest producer of rice in the world. After China, it is a kharif crop which requires high temperature, above 25 degrees Celsius, and high humidity with annual rainfall above 100 centimeter. In the areas of less rainfall, it grows with the help of irrigation.
Types of farming. Agriculture is an age-old economic activity in our country. Over these years, cultivation methods have changed significantly depending upon the characteristics of physical environment, technological know-how, and socio-cultural practices. Farming varies from subsistence to commercial type. At a present, in different parts of India, the following farming systems are practiced. Primitive subsistence farming. This is the farming is still practiced in few pockets of India. Primitive subsistence agriculture is practiced on small patches of land within the help of primitive tools like hoe, dough, and digging sticks, and family community labor. This type of farming depends upon monsoon, natural fertility of the soil, and suitability of the environmental conditions to the crop grown. It is splash and burn agriculture. Farmers clear a patch of land and produce clearly and other food crops to sustain their family. When the soil fertile decreases, the farmers shift and clear the fresh patches of land for cultivation. This type of shifting is allowed nature to replenish the fertility of the soil. Commercial farming. The main characteristics of this type of farming is to use of higher dose of modern inputs, example highly yielding variety seeds, chemical fertilizer, insecticides and pesticides in order to obtain higher productivity. The degree of commercialization of agriculture varies from one region to another. For example, rice is a commercial crop of Haryana and Punjab, but in Odisha it is subsistence crop. Plantation is also type of commercial farming. In this type of farming, a single crop is grown on a large area. The plantation has an interference of agriculture and industry. Plantation cover large tracts of land using capital investment inputs with the help of migration labor. All products is used as a raw material in respective industries. In India, tea, coffee, rubber, sugarcane, banana, etc. are important plantation crops. Teas in Assam and North Bengal, coffee in Karnataka are some of important plantation crops grown in the states. Since the production is mainly for market, a well-developed network of transport and communication connecting the plantation area. Processing industries market plays an important role in the development of plantation.